Alright, match number 2 on the draw, or on the play rather. 1 land again. Do I want to be greedy after I just got punished last time? Have 3 removal spells, 2 creatures, cantrip that's not very good until I find a green source. I'll be greedy again and keep it. Everything in my hand is cheap. I have a removal spell even if I don't draw a land. And pass the turn. Gataxian Probe for life. Alright, this could be, is it Blitz? This could be some sort of combo deck. Let's see. Brainstorm, okay. And it still doesn't really differentiate between the two. Alright, missed draw number 1. Let's try again next turn. This deck really doesn't generally need that many lands to operate off of, but 2 or 3 would be great. Alright, there we go. Comes into play tapped, but, you know, beggars can't be choosers, so. Our opponent played a swamp. Apparently they're playing some version of Dimir Control that plays Gataxian Probes for some reason. That's what I'm guessing. I guess we'll see. This could also be Esper Familiars. They're probably going to kill the first thing that we play, so I'm going to start off with Scavenger instead of Werebear, since it's more important to me that Werebear survives. Alright, they've passed the turn. I could play and crack the Vessel to force them to kill the Moldgraph. But what I like doing even more is just starting on the Stinkweed plan. Against control decks, Dredge is a really great mechanic because you just play your creature, they kill it, you get it back, you play the creature, they kill it, you get it back, and you run them out of counter spells and kill spells. And eventually they just have to start taking damage from the creature. Or find a way to exile it, but there's no Journey to Nowhere like effects in blue-black. Not to mention, dredging it back would make my Moldgraph Scavenger a lot better, too. My opponent's still sitting on 7 cards and has done nothing after nothing. I'm pretty sure they're a control deck. That's why they're sitting back and not doing anything. Let's start with Werebear. Wait for that to get countered and then play the Vessel. It could be they'll just let me resolve all the bad creatures and then counter my mill effect, but it appears they're not doing anything. Very curious about what their plan is. Maybe Evankar's Justice? Lotus Petal. Okay, so it is a combo deck. This is probably the... Actually, I don't know. The blue-red version plays Lotus Petals and is a Storm deck. Very interested to see what this is. Oh my goodness. Turn 6, Lotus Petal, Ulamog's Crusher. I'm starting to guess why this deck might be at 0-1. Assuming we got evenly matched. And they know about both of these cards in their hand. So maybe they have some sort of Exhume effect, and that's why they're willing to play the Crusher into 2 different removal spells. Well, I only have 1 black source right now, so I can only play 1 spell this turn. So I'm going to start by cracking the Vessel and looking for a black source, or maybe a green creature. Alright, green creature is pretty good. Nimble Mongoose isn't bad either, but I think I'm going to take Werebear. Oh, actually, I thought I had an extra mana this turn. That was silly of me. Alright, let's start off with Chainers. If I had realized I only had 1 mana after using a 2-mana removal spell, I probably would have taken Nimble Mongoose so I could resolve it this turn. Oh, a Daze. Well, luckily I have a Werebear activation remaining. I did not expect them to be playing Daze. Hopefully they don't have another one. Okay. So they just dazed to make me tap a werebear. I don't have absolutely any clue what our opponent is doing. I'm completely confused. Lotus Petals and Crushers in the same deck makes me think some sort of combo deck to get the Crusher out really early. Like to discard it and then exhume it on like turn 2 or 3. But I don't see any discard spells yet. Or reanimation spells for that matter. So it's possible they just had a really weird draw. Playing the Crusher out whenever their only protection was a single daze and I had plenty of mana to pay for that daze is kind of weird too. But perhaps they felt like they had to because of the pressure they were under. One card away from Threshold, so if I Grizzly Salvage next turn or just fire off a Doomblade or something, then I'll be okay. Let's see what they milled. Dragon Breath. So yep, this is a Reanimator deck. Enchanting creature has haste. When a creature with converted mana cost 6 or greater enters from the battlefield, you may return it from the battlefield graveyard attached to this creature. So you mill the Dragon Breath, you exhume the Crusher, Dragon Breath comes back, it has haste, and then you attack on turn 2 or 3 with your Crusher. Rid your opponent of their lands, and then they can't do anything about the Crusher. Which it looks like they're going to do that right now. Not quite as powerful on turn 7, though. Especially whenever I get to bring something back, too. Alright, so on my turn, I'm going to be Doomblading that Crusher. If I sacrifice 2 lands, and then I Doomblade the Crusher, I'll have Threshold, and I can attack for 7 plus 4 is 11 next turn. I don't really need my other land, so I'm pretty happy doing that. I'm not going to block. And I'll do the Doomblade before I attack in case they have another daze. Is this a Gurmag Angler? Oh, that changes my attacking plans significantly. Oh well. Still only have one choice. I can't let this stay on the table because I can't afford to keep sacrificing things. I can play a Vessel, and I can ping for 1. I can also just attack all out. If I attack all out, they block my Werebear, take 7, they're at 6. Next turn, they block Moldgraph, take 4, they're at 2. I don't think that's quite worth it. No, I'll play the Vessel. I'll attack in the air with Stinkweed. I don't think they can afford to attack me with this Angler. And then I'll pass. If they do manage to reanimate the Crusher again, I'm going to be upset, but they're only at 1 card in hand, drawing to 2, so I can't count on that, and I do need to establish some sort of clock, so I'm going to be attacking here. Hapless Researcher. Draw a card, then discard. That's fine with me, you can attack. They're undead on board if I just deadweight the Hapless Researcher before attacking, right? 7, oh, they're 11. They're not quite dead on board. Another Angler, okay, well that makes things easier for them. Chose not to play that pre-combat and attack. 0 cards in hand. We still have 1 black source. So what are we going to do? Well, that's first and foremost. Then I get to attack all out, and then I get to play Werebear. Sounds perfect. You can trade with Nimble Mongoose if you like, and then you're dead on board next turn without being able to kill me this turn. I think the best thing they could have done there is not block and gone to 1. That way if they had 1 removal spell for my 1 Werebear, they'd be able to attack for the win, but I'm not sure they're even playing removal spells. Alright, and we win match number 1. So they probably have no red mana for this Dragon Breath besides Lotus Petals, so they're planning on milling it, not hard casting it. They have Hapless Researcher, Careful Study, Thought Scour to fill up their graveyard early on, and then they Exhume. Early Gurmag Angler is really not that scary, though it can't be hit by Doomblade or Executioner's Capsule, which is annoying. The really scary thing is an early Crusher, so let's see if we can sideboard against this. Annihilate Spellbomb is great. Can leave that open at all times. Pulse is too slow. Choking doesn't do anything. Brown Scale is too slow. Probably be sideboarding those out. Seal is pretty fine since I can wait until their beginning of combat phase and then blow up their Dragon Breath before they're able to attack with haste. Echoing Decay, Shrivel don't really do anything. Quiet Disrepair triggers at the beginning of my upkeep, so if I try to blow up in a haste enchantment with this, I'm just going to have to take another attack first, so that doesn't really make any sense. And I need to sideboard one more thing out. Deadweight seems really bad against them, but if they have to block with like a Hapless Researcher, I can move this out of the way first. Also, powering down the Gurmag Angler is not irrelevant, as we saw that game. So I think I'm going to get rid of Pulse, since it's pretty slow. And we'll try this. Alright, on the draw, would love to have a Annihilate Spellbomb. Right now we have turn 2 Werebear, turn 3 Stinkweed, which is not very good. If our opponent gets the Ulamog's Crusher combo off, we have no Spellbomb, no Disenchant, no nothing to stop them. Not even a Chainer's Edict for the turn after. Additionally, Grizzly Salvage can't help us find any removal spells, just creatures and lands, so... Should I keep this hand because it's good, or should I mulligan for sideboard cards? I think I'm going to mulligan for sideboard cards. The fact that our opponent kept 7 means they're confident in their hand and they probably can do something scary. Well, this isn't any better, but I'm going to keep because I don't want to go down to 5. Executioner's Capsule, that's not awful. I can play that turn 1 and hold it up turn 2. That at least stops a Crusher from coming back. Alright, let's see what they can do on their turn 2. Another Terramorphic, okay. Nice and slow start, that's good for us. And they pass. So they can execute the combo all in one turn. They go Thought Scour or Hapless Researcher or Careful Study, and then with 2 more mana they Exhume. But that requires them to be able to mill or discard exactly the Dragon Breath and the Crusher, and having Exhume and another land in hand or a Lotus Petal. So I would like to develop my board if at all possible. I think I'm going to wait though, because playing the Mold Graph isn't really that important. I'd rather play Grizzly on their turn and then Gurmag Angler on my next, while leaving open Executioner's Capsule, so they can't go for it even if they have all the pieces that they need. Alright, Thought Scour themselves, let's see what they hit. Oh wow! Well, looks like that Brainstorm set them up perfectly for the Thought Scour. That's a cool interaction. They put back exactly Dragon Breath and Crusher. Gitaxian Probe to see what I can do. Although all that really matters right now is this Executioner's Capsule. So even if they have a Lotus Petal, they can't go for it. I mean, they can, but then they're just going to trade their Exhume for this Executioner's Capsule. Looks like an Angler's about to come out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but they can't do that without exiling at least one of either Dragon Breath or Crusher, which seems like a pretty high cost. So instead they will duress us. Okay. Well, if they take a Salvage, that's fine, because I have another Salvage I can use on their end step. They take the Vessel of Nascency instead. Alright, creature or land. I don't want another Angler so soon. So what am I going to be doing on my turn exactly? I can't resolve an angler on my turn unless I draw another black, so I can hold up an Executioner's Capsule at the same time. Let's take Werebear and plan on just passing with the capsule and the salvage up again. If we're lucky, they don't have a way to like bounce the Executioner's Capsule or mess with it, so that they're going to have to trade something with it. Dark Ritual, okay, probably a Hardcast Crusher or something? Alright, there's an Angler. Floating 2 mana. Getting back a Dragon Breath, potentially. Okay. What else are they doing with this mana? They could play one more Angler if they wanted to exile their Crusher. That would actually probably be enough to beat us. There's a Hapless Researcher, okay. Now they can play another Angler without getting rid of their Crusher. Alright, and that's what they've chosen to do. We need to find a Stinkweed Imp ASAP and be able to cast it so we can actually defend against these. Or we're going to be dead very quickly. They're down to 1 card in hand, probably an Exhume, but not necessarily. Another Angler. Okay, well, I have enough dumb green creatures, so I'll take the Angler, I guess. Chainer's Edict would also be a fine draw. We milled one, though, unfortunately. Well, we only have one choice here, and that's to trade off with one of these Anglers, so let's see what we're going to exile. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we'll play the Werebear so we have more mana next turn. And because it's bigger than the Scavenger. Or at least it will be whenever we get to 7 cards. Brainstorm, Mesmeric Fiend, okay. They can steal our other Angler, so we can't trade off with the second Gurmag. We're definitely trading with this one so we don't put the Dragon Fangs back into the yard. Okay. And we have no choices here, so we'll just play these Scavengers and pass. We can double block the Gurmag and put the Dragon Fangs in the yard. And if they reanimate the Crusher after we kill it, it doesn't really matter because then we have Executioner's Capsule to trade for it. We just don't want them to be able to do it on their first main phase when we don't have Executioner's Capsule available. They play Probe for life, going to 2 cards in hand. Play an Island down to 1 card in hand. And they have yet another Angler. 0 cards in hand. Alright, we can't take this damage repeatedly, so we are going to trade off one of these for an Angler. Give them the Dragon Fangs back. Go to 7 cards in hand for our Werebear. Vessel of Nascency, okay. Well, I could crack this now and try to go get a Angler exactly, but I'd rather just leave open Executioner's Capsule in case they top deck a Exhume. We know they put cards back with Brainstorm, so that's certainly possible they could have set that up. Careful Study, okay, they have no cards in hand, so they're just milling 2 right now. Getting rid of a Swamp and another Careful Study. And they want to trade off again, that's fine with us. I suppose I could have cracked this because I had the Werebear mana available. I still would have had mana left over for Capsule, but then if I wanted to do it before attacks, I would have had to tap the Werebear, which could have been awkward, so. Alright, they decided to get rid of Werebear. Crack this. And as long as they don't top deck well, we're looking pretty good. Alright, grab another Werebear. Bash. I'm going to be playing out all of my lands because of Ulamog's Crusher's Annihilator ability. We want to have things we don't need to sacrifice, and I'd rather have lands on the battlefield than in my hand in that case. Not that we have to worry about it this turn because we'll have the Capsule at the ready, but I could also consider leaving back the Scavenger and the Werebear so that if they do draw Reanimation and go for the Angler instead of the Crusher, due to my Executioner's Capsule, we could at least double block it. But just waiting around for forever is not a great idea, I don't think. I'd rather get my beat down on. I can take 5 damage one more time if I need to, so. Alright, and we win the match. Excellent. Appears our opponent top decked something that wasn't relevant. And there you go. I've seen variations of this Reanimator deck before. It's kind of neat, but it is also kind of inconsistent, unfortunately. If it could consistently get a hasty Ulamog Crusher turn 2 or 3, you'd probably see a lot more of it, but that's not really what the deck is generally capable of, which is why we were able to take it down here. Alright, on to the next match.